Principles Show daily podcast by and for you.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Awesome. Today we're heading over to Sochi, Russia, where the BRICS Young Scientists Forum is happening right now.
Sounds fascinating.
It is. We found this article on the BRICS joint website, and, I was expecting something, kind of boring. You know how these academic conferences can be.
Yeah, lots of jargon.
Exactly. But this is different. I mean, there's a team using AI to predict and manage droughts, and they're focusing on places with limited resources.
Oh, wow. That's really important work.
I know, right? And that's just one example of the amazing stuff they're doing at this forum.
Well, it makes sense when you think about it. The BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa.
Right.
They're really becoming powerhouses in science and technology.
Mm-hmm.
And they're working together more and more, especially on these big global challenges.
Yeah, and they're bringing in over 170 young scientists from all the BRICS nations, all competing for this BRICS Young Innovator Prize.
Oh, I've heard of that. It's a pretty big deal, right?
Huge. I mean, just imagine winning that prize.
It could launch a whole career.
Exactly, puts you on the map. Plus, it shows how seriously these nations are taking the next generation of scientists.
Absolutely. Investing in the future.
So this drought prediction project, that fits into one of the four main themes of the forum. Artificial intelligence, obviously. But then there's digital humanities.
Interesting.
I gotta admit, I'm not even sure what that means. There's environmental and climate technologies, and then something called nature-like technologies.
Okay, let's break those down a bit. Digital humanities, well, it's kind of like using all these digital tools and methods, computers and such, to look at traditional humanities stuff.
Like history and literature.
Exactly. It helps uncover new patterns, things you might not see with the old ways of doing research, and nature-like technologies.
Yeah, what's that all about?
Basically, it's like copying nature. You know how birds' wings are so efficient? Well, they're using that idea to design better wind turbines.
Oh, I get it. So it's like biomimicry.
Exactly. Or developing self-healing materials, like how our bodies heal. Pretty amazing stuff.
Wow, it's like they're tackling every problem on the planet.
Well, they're ambitious. And it shows how much influence the BRICS nations have now. They're not just focused on themselves, they're looking for solutions for everyone.
Yeah, like climate change, not enough resources.
Right. And all the ethical questions that come with technology changing so fast.
It's a lot to think about. And speaking of looking ahead, this article mentioned something called foresight interviews with Russian industry leaders.
Foresight interviews.
Yeah, what do you think those are about?
Well, I imagine it's like, trying to predict what's coming next. What challenges are we going to face? What trends are going to shape the future?
Makes sense. So it's about taking the research from the forum and figuring out how to actually put it into practice.
Right. And these industry leaders, they can give a real-world perspective. What's needed, what the roadblocks are, how to make these innovations actually work.
So not just pie-in-the-sky ideas, but stuff that can make a difference.
Exactly. It's about making a real impact.
And that brings us back to the Young Innovator Prize. Remember, we were talking about how competitive it is.
Oh, yeah.
So what exactly are the fields these scientists are working in?
5, to be exact. Green technologies, think agriculture and chemicals. Especially important now with all the focus on sustainability, right?
For sure.
Then there's AI, which is, everywhere. Healthcare, transportation, you name it.
It's changing everything.
It really is.
Yeah.
And then we have new materials and nanotechnology, which could lead to breakthroughs in, say, energy storage, better electronics.
Right.
And finally, the two that really grab your attention, prevention and elimination of natural and man-made disasters.
Makes sense with climate change and all.
Right. And the one you mentioned earlier, palladium and future technologies.
Okay, disaster prevention, that's pretty clear. But palladium, that's a metal, right?
Yeah, precious metals.
So what's it doing in future technologies?
That's a good question. I mean, we already use it for things like catalytic converters, electronics, even dentistry.
Right.
But this category, it's like they're looking way beyond those uses.
Oh, wow. So pushing the limits of what we know about this metal.
Exactly. Who knows what they'll discover?
So we've got young scientists tackling huge problems, competing for this prestigious prize, maybe even revolutionizing whole industries with a metal most people think of as jewelry.
It's pretty amazing, right?
It's a lot to take in.
And we're just getting started. What I find really exciting is the potential of this forum to actually change the whole global science scene.
It's like a shift in power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For so long, the West has dominated science and technology. but the BRICS nations are rising fast.
I'm sure seeing a new kind of scientific powerhouse emerging.
And that's going to have a huge impact on all of us.
Okay, before we get too carried away, let's take a breath and recap what we've learned so far about this amazing event happening in Sochi.
Sounds good.
So, the BRICS Young Scientists Forum, it's a melting pot of talent, brilliant ideas, and they're all committed to tackling these big global challenges. They're showcasing the best and brightest from these nations, working together, collaborating.
Right.
And let's not forget the competition aspect of it, the BRICS Young Innovator Prize.
Right. That's a big motivator.
Recognizing all these achievements from, sustainable agriculture to the mysteries of palladium and future technologies.
It's a powerful reminder that science needs both collaboration and competition to really thrive.
So true. And I can't wait to dig into the specific projects and see what kind of impact they might have.
Yeah, me too.
That's actually a perfect segue to the next part of our deep dive. Get ready, folks. Things are about to get even more interesting.
I'm ready. #TTS, the Deep Dive episode 2024-11-25, part 2 of 3. So we've talked about what's happening at this forum, the themes, the prize, but, someone listening might be thinking, okay, but why should I care?
I think that's a fair question. It's easy to see this as, just another conference. But the truth is, what comes out of this forum, those innovations, they could affect all of us.
Exactly. Think bigger picture for a second. For a long time, the West has really been the leader in science and technology, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
But now, the BRICS nations, they're catching up fast. We're seeing a real shift happening globally.
So it's like a new scientific superpower is emerging.
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay.
And a world with, more players in science and technology, that means more ideas, different ways of solving problems.
Right.
It also kind of pushes everyone to do better, to collaborate more.
Yeah, that makes sense. And this forum, it's a perfect example of that collaboration. It's not just about who wins. It's about bringing all these smart people together from different backgrounds to work on the same problem.
Exactly. Remember that project we talked about? Using AI for drought prediction?
Yeah.
That's just one way this focus on sustainability could have a global impact. Imagine similar projects for clean water, renewable energy, even developing tougher crops that can survive, in places where food is scarce.
It's a hopeful vision, right? Using science to actually solve some of these big problems we're facing.
Absolutely. And It's not just about the immediate solutions. When these countries invest in their young scientists, they're building a pipeline of talent, people who are going to keep innovating for years to come.
So it's like planting seeds for the future.
Exactly. A future harvest of knowledge and progress.
Yeah.
But, how does this actually translate to real benefits? Say someone's interested in, let's stick with that example, sustainable agriculture. What kind of real-world impact might come from this forum?
Okay, yeah. What could we actually see happening?
Well, imagine this. Sensors out in the fields collecting data 24/7. Soil moisture, nutrients, even pest activity. And all that data goes into an AI system that tells you, exactly how much to irrigate, when to fertilize, how to manage pests.
So you get better harvests and it's better for the environment.
Exactly. It's not just about growing more food, it's about growing it smarter.
Okay, that's something everyone can get behind, right?
Absolutely. And that's just one example. We can see similar stuff in renewable energy, capturing carbon, even, making new materials that break down naturally so we don't have so much plastic waste.
So a future where technology and the environment, they work together.
Exactly. And hey, let's not forget about healthcare. Remember we talked about AI?
Yeah.
Imagine doctors using AI to diagnose diseases much earlier, more accurately, or personalizing treatments based on your genes.
Right.
Even developing new medicines super fast and super precise.
Wow, it sounds like sci-fi becoming real.
It does, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But all this amazing technology, we have to remember the ethical side of things too.
That's important. It's easy to get caught up in the wow factor and forget about the potential downsides.
Absolutely. And the forum, they're not ignoring those hard questions. In fact, one of their key themes, remember, prevention and elimination of natural and man-made disasters.
Yeah.
That's looking directly at the risks that can come with technology changing so fast.
It's good they're thinking about that now before things get, out of control.
Absolutely. It's all about responsible innovation, making sure these advances are truly good for humanity, without causing unintended problems.
So it's not just cool gadgets and science for the sake of science. It's about building a better future for everyone.
Yeah. A more sustainable future, a fairer future, and, a future with more hope.
I like the sound of that.
And we can all be part of making that future happen By staying informed, having these conversations, supporting these amazing young scientists, we can all help steer progress in the right direction.
And speaking of shaping the future, I'm still dying to know more about that palladium and future technologies category.
I knew you'd come back to that.
Of course.
Well, get ready, because the things they're doing with palladium, it's pretty mind-blowing. We'll dive into those groundbreaking projects in the last part of our deep dive. #TTS, the deep dive, episode 2024-11-25, part 3 of 3.
Okay, we're back and ready to wrap up our deep dive into the BRICS Young Scientists Forum. We've covered a lot of ground, from the global impact to the ethics of these advancements. But now let's finally get to the bottom of this palladium and future technologies mystery.
All right, let's unlock that vault. So we know palladium's already a key player in a lot of tech, but this is about exploring its full potential, pushing the limits.
So what are they actually doing with it? What kind of future technologies are we talking about?
Well, one project that really caught my eye, they're using palladium nanoparticles in solar cells, next-gen solar cells.
Okay.
You see, palladium has this unique ability to grab sunlight and convert it into electricity really, really well.
So could we be talking about solar panels that are way more efficient than the ones we have now?
Exactly. Imagine solar panels so thin and flexible you could put them on clothes, windows, even just paint them on buildings.
Wow.
It could totally change how we get and use energy.
That's amazing. And I remember you mentioned palladium being used in catalysts before. Any projects in that area?
Oh, absolutely. One team's working on a new kind of catalytic converter for vehicles.
Oh, cool.
Not only is it better at cutting those harmful emissions, but it can actually break down greenhouse gases like methane.
So it's not just cleaning up the pollution we already have, it's actually helping fight climate change.
Exactly. It's pretty impressive.
I'm starting to see why this category is so fascinating. It's like palladium is the key to all these solutions for the future.
It's a great way to put it. And there's more. They're also using palladium to develop some really advanced water purification systems.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, these systems can get rid of even the toughest contaminants, providing clean drinking water for communities everywhere.
It's amazing that one metal can be so versatile, like it's the answer to so many problems.
It really is remarkable. And we're just scratching the surface of what it can do. Who knows what incredible uses we'll find in the future.
So we've gone from AI predicting droughts to, super smart agriculture, solar-powered clothing, and now palladium for clean energy and clean water.
That's a lot, right?
It's mind-blowing. And all this innovation, it's all happening at this one event.
It really shows you what's possible when we put our minds together.
So for our listeners, what's the big takeaway here? What should they be thinking about after this deep dive into the BRICS Young Scientists Forum?
I think the biggest thing is we're living in a time of incredible scientific progress. Things are changing so fast. And this research, from the AI and the drought prediction to all this stuff with palladium, it's a window into what the future could be. A future where we use science to make things better.
It's a future full of challenges, yeah, but full of opportunity, too. And while we can't know for sure what's going to happen, events like this forum, they give us a reason to be hopeful.
I agree. It shows that no matter how tough things get, there are brilliant people out there working hard to find solutions. And who knows, maybe one of those solutions, the one that changes everything, it's coming from a young scientist presenting their work right now in Sochi.
And on that inspiring note, that's a wrap for our deep dive into the BRICS Young Scientists Forum. We hope you've enjoyed this journey into the world of cutting-edge science and the potential it holds for shaping the future.
Stay curious, everyone. Stay informed, and never underestimate the power of human ingenuity to create a better world.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.